I had an interesting comment come up on one of my recent videos saying that developers kind of have an obligation to create educational and informative content on the products they put out. Maybe not necessarily on the sort of simple products, but things like page builders and tools like that. So I thought, how much validity actually is in this? For me personally, I've never really been that bothered by whether the developers actually release content or content creators create content covering that particular product. Often content creators with a good educational skill set will do a better job than developers will. The kind of caveat here is where you get good companies, for example, like Webflow, which invested an awful lot of money into their academy, and they got some really good people on board to make it not only educational, but interesting, lighthearted, and fun. They did an amazing job, which I would say probably contributed quite a lot to the success of the product itself, and especially in the initial stages. Well, this kind of got me thinking, so I thought, well, I'm going to put this out to the community, and to be honest, I'm surprised by the number of comments that have come back. And fundamentally, one key comment is kind of echoed in probably 90 or 95% of all of these replies so far. And I will keep an eye on this. But I want to put the question over to you as well. Do you think developers or companies, for example, like Bricks and so on, have an obligation to their customers, their clients, their user base, especially new people coming on board, to have high quality educational content available, even if it's just simple things like the fundamentals, and leave the more sort of intermediate, advanced sort of topics to people like myself and so on? Let me know in the comment section down below. So let's go back to that point that I said probably 90 or 95% of the answers so far I've come back to. And that is, they think developers need to focus not just on new features and bug fixes, but also having solid documentation available as soon as new features come out. This is especially evident when you've got more intermediate and advanced plugins that have a quite steep learning curve, and they don't necessarily have good quality educational content and documentation to be able to back those things up. I know it's great fun to create new features and get excited when you got your user base that are kind of really excited about those features, but the reality is that core user base you have there will stay the same size unless you make it easy and more accessible for new users to come on board and be able to find out how to use your product a lot easier and a lot faster. It also echoes the fact that people like myself and other content creators, we have to strike a balance. We'd like to cover all different kinds of things. For example, advanced custom fields, jet engine, metabox, all those kinds of tools. There's differences there and they're interesting and fun to experiment with and create content on. But the reality of it is, tools like jet engine and metabox, the videos just do not perform anywhere near as good as videos that use advanced custom fields, free and or pro. That's a simple fact. So as a content creator, you kind of have to think, how much time do I want to invest into creating content on this particular plugin or range of plugins or suite of plugins when I know historically they just don't perform as well? The reality is, for myself, I'm a full-time content creator. I need to put food on the table for myself and my family. That means I've got to pick and choose what I do and don't create content on. I will always find a middle ground where there's things that I just enjoy creating content on, and I'm going to create content quickly and put it out there because I want to show you something. But those deeper dive, more time-consuming, intense videos where a lot of time is invested in research, planning, before I even start to create the video, then creating the video, editing it, and all those kinds of things, I have to concentrate on tools and plugins and topics that I know are going to perform well. Especially historically, they have performed well. This is why I don't necessarily cover all the tools in as much depth as I would if they performed better. But anyway, to go back to the original question, do you think that developers have an obligation to create solid educational content, whether in-house or externally, working with content creators, agencies that actually handle this kind of thing, whatever, written, video, whatever works? Do you think that? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to get your feedback. And if you're a developer, what are your thoughts on this? Have you looked into this and kind of just put it to one side, or you actually invest in time and effort and money into working with content creators, having an in-house content creation sort of department, whatever it is, creating good content to help push forward your product? Let me know in the comment section as well. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.